Ever felt like you're just, I don't know, playing the lottery when you're trying to hire someone? You map out this perfect role, picture the ideal candidate, post the job, and then, well, you just cross your fingers, right? Hoping the right person stumbles upon
Or
it.
the opposite, you get buried in applications, but none are quite there.
Exactly. It's such a common struggle trying to stand out, attract the right kind of people, or sometimes, honestly, just getting anyone to apply for a key role.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the real secret weapon, the thing that turns that lottery into a targeted search, isn't the interview itself, but actually something much, much earlier?
Ah, the job description.
Precisely. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into job descriptions, but more than that, we're looking at the playbook for transforming your hiring approach.
Yeah.
Our source today is a really thorough guide on writing job descriptions from HR Cloud. And our mission really is to give you a shortcut to understanding how to craft JDs that genuinely pull in top talent, not just any talent. We'll cover some surprising facts and, crucially, actionable steps you can use right away.
And it's worth underlining the impact here. Getting the job description right isn't just, a minor admin task. It genuinely streamlines your whole hiring process.
Right.
It boosts the quality of candidates you see, and it reflects really positively on your company from that very first touch point. It sets the stage, saves time, saves resources, and helps you find the best fit.
Totally agree. So let's jump into the first big point from the source guide, this major trap that so many companies fall into. Just copying job descriptions.
Oh, the copy-paste problem. Yeah.
Or maybe just slightly tweaking an old one. The HR Cloud Guide is pretty blunt about this. It says copying or minor revisions automatically means average quality candidates. Why? Because it's just not tailored to the real needs of your business. Seems like a small shortcut, but the cost is surprisingly high.
And what's fascinating is that ripple effect, isn't it? That seemingly small choice at the start using a generic description, it pretty much guarantees you're attracting, average candidates.
Which leads to average hires.
Exactly. The guide is crystal clear. Creating custom, engaging, and effective job descriptions will attract better talent. And it boils down to this simple logic. Hiring the best talent begins with attracting the right talent. Can't aim for exceptional people if your starting point is just generic.
Right. So the goal then is to create something that pulls together the reality of the job, yes, but also markets your business, outlines the must-have skills, and gives a real sense of your company culture. Sounds like a lot, but we can break it down. Starting with maybe the element people often overlook or rush, the job title itself. It seems basic, but what does the HR Cloud Guide say makes a great title, and what should we absolutely avoid?
Okay, yeah, the title. It's more strategic than people think. The guide strongly advises against using those, buzzwords like ninja or rock star.
Yeah, those are a bit dated now.
They really are. As the source puts it, these are simply no longer cool because everyone is a superhero and a rock star these days. But more seriously, a good title avoids exaggerating the role's importance.
Yep.
Critically, it needs to use the main keywords candidates actually search for online. That's key for discoverability. And of course, it needs to be free of age or gender bias and accurately reflect what the job is and its core duties.
I see. So it's not just about being honest, it's about being found by the right people and setting clear expectations right from the start.
Precisely. If you connect that to the bigger picture, a well-chosen, accurate title is like a specific signal in a noisy market. It aligns with the job's actual purpose, its essential functions.
So the right people find it.
Exactly. They find your posting. A title that's mismatched or maybe too trendy might get clicks, sure, but probably not from a qualified, genuinely interested people. That just wastes everyone's time.
That's a really important distinction. Okay, so you've got their attention with the right title. The next step is making them actually want to work for your company.
Step 2, selling the company.
Right. The source says this means showcasing your company in the best light possible, outlining what you do, but also, importantly, why someone would work there. It calls it a perfect opportunity to show how your company stands out. So what specific things does the guide recommend including here?
This is really your employer brand pitch. The guide gives a pretty solid list. Think about stating your vision and mission clearly. What are your core values?
Yeah.
Maybe mention the company's size, how many people work there, what's the culture really like. Don't shy away from that. It's also the place to highlight your commitment to diversity and inclusion.
Important.
Very. And any recent big wins or achievements, mention them. Plus, of course, details on benefits, professional development, maybe unique working conditions or specific talent programs you have. Give them the full picture.
So it's much more than just a dry description. It's like an invitation into the company's world, its purpose.
All right.
How does this detailed sales section really help the candidate, though? What difference does it make?
Well, it's transformative, really. It gives potential candidates a much clearer, more holistic view of what working at your company is actually like. It goes beyond just the tasks.
Right. It's the environment, the values.
Exactly. And by sharing that up front, you're helping people see if they'll align with your culture. You start attracting people who aren't just looking for any job, but who might genuinely thrive in your specific setup. That helps with retention, engagement, everything down the line.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's move to a section that I think trips up a lot of people. Step 3, detailing the duties and responsibilities. This is where JDs can suddenly feel like homework.
The dreaded checklist.
Yeah. Our source guide talks about avoiding what it calls an operational manual.
Yeah.
So what's the trick to making this part concise but still really informative, especially for top candidates who are probably skimming?
This is where the HR Cloud Guide has a really neat insight. It actually quotes an HR expert, Susan Morrison, who says this part should be as short as possible, precisely because it can turn into that manual. But the key, the sort of secret weapon here, is to identify the actual daily responsibilities. And here's the clever bit, add a percentage showing roughly how much time is spent on each main task.
Oh, percentages. That's interesting. Why is that so effective?
It's surprisingly powerful. It combats that feeling of a vague, endless list. It gives an immediate sense of priority and focus. It manages expectations from day one.
Brilliant. So instead of just bullet points, you're giving a snapshot of a typical week or month. Can you give an example from the source?
Sure. For, say, a marketing content role, the examples were something like creation of online marketing-related written job content, 60%.
Okay, so that's the main focus.
Right. Then proofreading of content produced by others, 20%, and approving, posting, and managing content on the company's website, 20%. Those percentages just provide instant clarity on where the effort really lies. It makes the role's reality much easier to grasp.
That's incredibly useful for the candidate and the hiring manager. It's like a mini job audit built right in. Okay, let's move to step 4, skills and experience. This feels crucial for separating the must-haves from the nice-to-haves.
Absolutely. The source really hammers home the importance of listing job requirements separately. You need that clear distinction between required qualifications and preferred qualifications.
Why is that separation so critical?
Because it helps candidates self-filter effectively. It also gives hiring managers clarity on the absolute non-negotiables versus the ideal extras. If it's all just one long list, you risk scaring off qualified people who maybe don't tick every single box, especially the preferred ones.
Right, or you attract people who only have the preferred skills but lack the core requirements.
Precisely, and the guide gives good examples. For required, it might be things like must have a marketing certificate, able to meet deadlines, excellent communication skills, maybe basic project management experience, the essentials.
Got it. And for preferred?
Preferred is where you put the nice-to-haves, the things that give an edge, like ideal candidate has 5+ years in social media marketing, or a plus candidate has expert Photoshop skills, or experience with content strategy, things that are a bonus but not deal breakers.
What's interesting here, though, is the guide doesn't just say what to list, but also hints at how to think about it.
Yes, exactly. It goes that extra step. It advises being mindful of unconscious bias when you write these qualifications. Think about your language. Could it unintentionally exclude certain groups?
Good point. Promote diversity and inclusion.
Actively promote it. And it also reminds you to consider legal compliance stuff, any specific requirements for that role or industry. And for global companies, it even mentions potentially using translation services for localization to make sure it's accurate and culturally right everywhere.
Makes sense. Okay, step 5, compensation range. This is always a big one, isn't it? Salary transparency. Some companies love it, some hate it. Why does the guide recommend putting it out there?
Yeah, it's often debated, but the guide sees a clear advantage. It argues that including a compensation range helps attract candidates who are genuinely aligned with your expectations.
So it filters people, realistically.
Right, and crucially, it boosts transparency right from the start. It's not just about being nice, it's efficient. It cuts down massively on wasted time for you and for the candidates. You often end up hiring faster because you're talking to people who are already in the right ballpark.
So it's actually a Strategic move for efficiency. And if you're wondering how to figure out a fair range, what does the guide suggest?
It points to pretty accessible tools, free services like Payscale, Salary.com, or even just Googling position plus salary range plus location can give you a decent baseline.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and the guide also says don't forget to mention the other stuff, the extra perks that add value, got a learning budget, great health benefits, remote work options. Put that in too. It's the total package.
And if we connect that back, that kind of transparency really builds trust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right from the first look.
Immense trust. It signals honesty, respect for the candidate's time, and practically speaking, as you said, it narrows the pool effectively to people whose expectations match what you can offer, saves everyone headaches later on.
Definitely avoids those awkward conversations down the line. Okay, next up, step 6. Setting a hiring deadline. This feels like it could be tricky, creating urgency without sounding desperate. How does the guide frame this?
It's framed as a positive for both sides. The guide quotes Victor Cousins, a head of talent acquisition, who says, by setting a hiring time frame, you're ensuring that you'll be moving through the hiring process at your pace, plus you're creating a bit of urgency.
So it controls the process and motivates candidates.
Exactly. The thinking is simple. If candidates feel a sense of urgency, they will be much more compelled to send their resume. It's a gentle nudge, so the advice is clear. Include specific start dates or firm deadlines for sending resumes right there in the posting.
Makes perfect sense. It's
Yeah.
not pushy, it's just clear, providing a roadmap.
Precisely. And that clarity helps everyone. The company can manage its workflow better, the hiring team knows the timeline, and for the candidate, they know what to expect, they can plan, maybe it stops them putting it off. It just makes the whole experience feel more organized and respectful.
Okay, we are almost at the end of the process.
Yeah.
Step 7, the final, crucial push. The call to action. This has to be non-negotiable, right?
Absolutely non-negotiable. The HR Cloud Guide is emphatic. A job description is basically incomplete if it doesn't encourage the readers to apply. It's that final prompt.
So what should it look like?
It advises including an appropriate call to action, crucially, with specific instructions for how to apply right at the very end. That last sentence should be designed to push the candidates to get in touch with you as soon as possible.
And I guess the flip side is, what happens if that call to action is vague or the application itself is a nightmare?
Oh, that's a huge turnoff. A clear, simple call to action isn't just instructional, it massively improves the overall candidate experience. If it's easy and obvious how to apply, you remove friction. Top talent especially, they often have options. They won't waste time wrestling with a confusing or clunky application process. That final step is key for actually getting them to hit apply.
Okay, so we've covered the steps, but putting it all together efficiently. The guide had a bonus tip about using tools, didn't it? How can tech help here?
Yeah, the tools aren't just for, spell checking. They're about optimizing the whole thing. The guide mentions a few useful ones, like Hemingway Editor.
What does that do?
It analyzes clarity, word choice, gives you a readability score, which is really insightful because, let's be honest, sometimes JDs sound like they were written by lawyers, not for actual humans looking for a job.
True. That readability score could be eye-opening.
Totally. It might make you realize, wow, I need to simplify this. Then there are tools like Grammarly, which has special checks for job-related stuff, or services like Flash Essay that can spot unclear phrasing, help with outlining, even the call to action. They just streamline it all.
And how do these fit into the bigger picture, like with applicant tracking systems?
Well, they make the input better, right? Cleaner, clearer descriptions work better everywhere. Many applicant tracking systems, or ATS, have their own tools or integrations, but the principles are the same. Use tech to ensure consistency, clarity, and efficiency. Right from writing the JD through to managing applications, they support the whole hiring ecosystem.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it feels clearer than ever. A custom-written, really engaging job description isn't just a nice-to-have. It's genuinely the starting point for attracting truly exceptional people.
Absolutely. It's often that very first contact, maybe the only contact initially, between your company and a potential hire. So making a great first impression, showcasing your employer brand effectively, it's just crucial. It's your chance to shine and connect with the right people to build the best possible team.
And maybe as a final thought for you listening, when you next write or review a job description, think beyond just what you want the candidate to do. Think about how you want them to feel when they first read it. Does it spark interest, curiosity, maybe even a sense of belonging? Does it make them actually picture themselves working with you? That feeling, that initial connection, might just be the thing that attracts your next superstar.